ملكال وباليت. بتوفر آي راديو تغطية شاملة بتصل إلى كل من المراكز الحضرية والمناطق الريفية. بتضمن شراكتك مع آي راديو الرؤية عبر منطقة جغرافية واسعة.
ما تفوت فرصة توسيع نطاق رسالتك باستخدام آي راديو. شارك أو أعلن معنا الليلة وخلي صوتك مسموع في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir has sent a written message to Sudan's Transitional Sovereignty Council President General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, focusing on bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries. The government of South Sudan has established a committee to investigate 4 UN-registered aircraft that were grounded over suspicions of carrying surveillance equipment and involvement in smuggling activities. And elsewhere, a Hong Kong court has found media tycoon Jimmy Lai guilty of colluding with foreign forces under Hong Kong's controversial national security law. These stories and more coming to you this newscast with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir has sent a written message to Sudan's Transitional Sovereignty Council President General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, focusing on bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries. According to the Sudan News Agency, the message was delivered on Sunday by Presidential Advisor on Security Affairs Stuttgart Luak, who led a high-level South Sudanese delegation in a meeting with General al-Burhan in Port Sudan. South Sudan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Monday Simaya Kumba, said President Kiir's message reflects the brotherly relations between South Sudan and Sudan. Meanwhile, Sudan's Undersecretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Muawiyah Osman Khalid, said the discussion emphasized the strong bonds between the peoples of Sudan and South Sudan. He added that the Transitional Sovereignty Council President directed all state bodies at ministerial and technical levels to engage with their South Sudanese counterparts on issues of mutual interest, particularly in energy, oil, trade, and economic sectors, alongside political relations. SUNA reported Sudanese officials welcomed the message and emphasized the importance of continued coordination with South Sudan. The government of South Sudan has established a committee to investigate 4 UN-registered aircraft that were grounded over suspicions of carrying surveillance equipment and involvement in smuggling activities. On Saturday, Foreign Minister Monday Simaya Kumba said 2 of the planes, UNO 570P and UNO 571P, were found equipped with advanced intelligence surveillance recorders and missiles protection systems. 2 other aircraft, UNO 535P and UNO 536P, are suspected of transporting natural resources, including sandalwood, between South Sudan and Sudan. The minister stressed that the government is not accusing the United Nations mission in South Sudan of wrongdoing, stating that the aircraft normally operate under agreements between contractors and operators. Minister Kumba said, and I quote, "Through our intelligence, we found that these aircraft were equipped with surveillance systems. We also have initial evidence that 2 other aircraft were engaged in smuggling. I reported this to UNMISS in a very cordial manner. This is a very serious security matter. Our committee aims to establish the facts before sharing findings. The final report will be submitted to my office and relevant authorities, and we will also share it with UNMISS after necessary decisions." End quote. Minister Kumba said the investigation will be handled separately from any contingency plans and aims to clarify the operational security concerns surrounding the 4 aircraft. The committee's findings are expected to guide the government's next steps and determine whether further action is required to safeguard national security. The United Nations mission in South Sudan has yet to issue a statement. The University of Juba has agreed to a request by Juba City Council to allow traders affected by the Nyakron market fire to operate temporarily in the custom market area for at least 2 years. The decision follows a joint meeting on Friday between City Mayor Christopher Serafino Waniswaka and Vice Chancellor Professor Robert Mayomdeng. The fire, which occurred on December 1st, destroyed hundreds of stalls and caused losses, leaving many traders without livelihoods. Following the meeting, Mayor Waniswaka said the City Council and the university discussed how best to support the traders during this difficult period while acknowledging that the land belongs to the university. Vice Chancellor Professor Robert Mayomdeng said this is the first time the university is publicly addressing the incident. He said that the university wants to provide temporary space for 1 to 2 years while long-term expansion plans, particularly for the School of Medicine, are implemented. This is iRadio Morning News, and now to the international news. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says he will push for tougher gun laws after 15 people, including a 10-year-old girl, were killed in a shooting at Bondi Beach on Sunday. Mourners have gathered at beachside memorials to lay flowers and pay their respects to those who perished in the attack that targeted Hanukkah event. Police say the two gunmen were a 50-year-old father who died on the scene and his 24-year-old son who remains in hospital in critical condition. Finally, a Hong Kong court has found media tycoon Jimmy Lai guilty of colluding with foreign forces under Hong Kong's controversial national security law. The 78-year-old, who waved goodbye to his family as he was escorted out of court, faces life in prison. Lai, a UK citizen and fierce critic of the Chinese state, was a key figure in the pro-democracy protest that engulfed Hong Kong in 2019. Beijing responded to the months-long demonstrations by introducing the national security law, saying it was essential for the city's stability. This is our Radio Morning News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. President Salva Kiir has sent a written message to Sudan's Transitional Sovereignty Council President General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, focusing on bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries. The government of South Sudan has established a committee to investigate 4 UN-registered aircraft that were grounded over suspicions of carrying surveillance equipment and involvement in smuggling activities. And a Hong Kong court has found media tycoon Jimmy Lai guilty of colluding with foreign forces under Hong Kong's controversial national security law. That's the end of our Radio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please don't hesitate to text us at this +211 925 287 It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba. Like our Facebook page iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I am Lasuba Memo. Thank you for listening.